Alabama's capital is Montgomery. It became the capital in 1846 after the seat was moved from Tuscaloosa. Lawmakers chose Montgomery because of its central location on the Alabama River, which gave access to steamboat traffic and connected plantations with new rail lines. The choice reflected a shift toward more interior, centrally located hubs. Today, Montgomery remains the political center, even though Birmingham is Alabama's largest city and economic powerhouse. Alaska's capital is Juneau. It became the capital in 1906, moving from Sitka to the mainland to be closer to population growth and mining in the Inside Passage. Though Juneau is not connected by road to the highway system, its port and strategic location justified the move in the steamboat era. After Alaska became a state in 1959, repeated efforts to move the capital to Anchorage failed, leaving Juneau as the seat of government. Arizona's capital is Phoenix. It became the territorial capital in 1889, replacing Prescott, and was retained when Arizona became a state in 1912. Phoenix was chosen because of its irrigated agriculture in the Salt River Valley, rail connectivity, and rapid population growth. Unusually, Arizona's political and economic hub are the same city, making Phoenix both the largest city and the state capital. Arkansas's capital is Little Rock. In 1821, the capital moved from Arkansas Post to Little Rock, decades before statehood. Arkansas Post, a colonial trading settlement, was vulnerable and low-lying. Little Rock, on the Arkansas River, offered bluffs, better river access, and a crossroads for roads and later railways. Its centrality ensured it remained the state's government seat. California's capital is Sacramento. Early statehood saw frequent moves. San Jose, Vallejo, and Benicia all briefly served before Sacramento was chosen in 1854. Sacramento's inland location on the Sacramento River, close to the gold rush mining region and rail networks, secured its status. While San Francisco and Los Angeles surpassed it economically and demographically, Sacramento remains California's political core. Colorado's capital is Denver. In 1867, the territorial capital moved from Golden to Denver, and Denver remained the seat at statehood in 1876. Denver's position as a rail and trade hub on the eastern slope of the Rockies, supplying both mining and farming regions, made it the dominant choice. Its accessibility set it apart from smaller, more remote mountain towns. Connecticut's capital is Hartford. For decades, the legislature alternated between Hartford and New Haven until 1875, when Hartford was chosen as the sole capital. Its role as a river port, insurance and manufacturing center, and long-standing colonial seats secured its place. New Haven retained cultural prominence with Yale, while Hartford became the undisputed government center. Delaware's capital is Dover. In 1777, the seat of government moved inland from Newcastle to Dover during the Revolutionary War. Dover's central location and relative safety from British naval threats made it ideal. Its accessibility from all three counties reinforced its long-term role, while Wilmington grew into the state's economic and corporate hub. Florida's capital is Tallahassee. In 1824, Tallahassee was chosen as a compromise between Pensacola in the west and St. Augustine in the east, which were too far apart. Its position on old trade routes and proximity to mission settlements helped justify the decision. Even after Florida's population shifted southward to Miami and Tampa, Tallahassee remained the established political center. Georgia's capital is Atlanta. Georgia cycled through several capitals, Savannah, Augusta, Louisville, and Milledgeville, before finally selecting Atlanta in 1868. Atlanta's railroad junctions made it the state's transportation hub during Reconstruction, giving it unmatched economic and strategic importance. Despite its destructive burning during the Civil War, Atlanta's recovery and growth cemented its role as the permanent capital. Hawaii's capital is Honolulu. In 1845, King Kamehameha III moved the Hawaiian capital from Lahaina to Honolulu. The city's deepwater harbor and centrality in Pacific trade made it ideal. When Hawaii became a U.S. state in 1959, Honolulu remained the capital because it was already the island's political, economic, and military hub. Idaho's capital is Boise. It became the capital in 1865, replacing Lewiston. Boise's location along the Oregon Trail and proximity to gold mining camps gave it an advantage. Its growth as a supply center ensured that when Idaho achieved statehood in 1890, Boise retained its political status. Illinois' capital is Springfield. Illinois moved its capital from Kaskaskia to Vandalia, then finally to Springfield in 1839. Springfield's central location and political advocacy by leaders like Abraham Lincoln influenced the choice. Its accessibility to the growing population made it a fairer location for the state seat. Indiana's capital is Indianapolis. In 1820, Indianapolis was founded as a planned city to serve as the capital. Its central location was intended to provide equal access to all residents of the state. Railroads later transformed it into both a transport hub and a political center. Its status reflects the American pattern of designing capitals for geographic fairness. Iowa's capital is Des Moines. In 1857, lawmakers moved the capital from Iowa City to Des Moines. Its central location, river access, and growing economy made it practical. As Iowa grew, Des Moines also became the state's largest city, making it one of the rare cases where political and economic centers align. Kansas's capital is Topeka. During the territorial period of Bleeding Kansas, Free State advocates established Topeka as their stronghold in opposition to pro-slavery capitals. In 1861, when Kansas entered the Union as a free state, Topeka remained the capital. Its central eastern location along the Kansas River gave it accessibility and symbolic weight. Kentucky's capital is Frankfort. Since 1792, when Kentucky became a state, Frankfort has served as the capital. Though smaller than Lexington and Louisville, its location on the Kentucky River and its centrality made it a compromise site. Offers of land and funds for government buildings helped secure its selection. Louisiana's capital is Baton Rouge. Before 1849, Louisiana's capital shifted between New Orleans and other towns. Baton Rouge was chosen for its more central location and to reduce the dominance of New Orleans. Its placement along the Mississippi River and local support for a new capital made it the permanent seat. Maine's capital is Augusta. Originally, Portland was the capital after statehood in 1820, but in 1832 it was moved to Augusta. Augusta's central location along the Kennebec River made government more accessible to inland residents. Its balance between coastal and interior communities reinforced the decision. Maryland's capital is Annapolis. In 1694, the colonial capital moved from St. Mary's City to Annapolis for its port access and central position. Annapolis later served as the temporary U.S. capital in the 1780s, giving it additional historical importance. Its longevity and location on the Chesapeake Bay secured its place as the state seat. Massachusetts' capital is Boston. Founded in 1630, Boston has always been Massachusetts' capital. Its importance as a colonial, revolutionary, and commercial hub cemented its status. Events such as the Boston Tea Party and Boston Massacre underscored its central political role. Michigan's capital is Lansing. Originally, Detroit was the capital after statehood in 1837, but in 1847, it was moved inland to Lansing to avoid vulnerability to British Canada across the river and to serve a more central population. Though Lansing was a small settlement at the time, it grew around its government institutions and later became an industrial and educational center. Minnesota's capital is St. Paul. Since becoming a territory in 1849 and later a state in 1858, St. Paul has served as the capital. Its role as a Mississippi River hub for fur trading and steamboats, combined with its proximity to Minneapolis, secured its role. Together, the Twin Cities balance commerce and governance. Mississippi's capital is Jackson. In 1821, the capital moved to Jackson from alternating seats like Natchez. Jackson was chosen for its central location and accessibility on the Pearl River. Named after Andrew Jackson, it grew into the political heart of the state. Missouri's capital is Jefferson City. Early capitals included St. Louis and St. Charles, but in 1821, Jefferson City was chosen for its centrality on the Missouri River. Unlike larger cities, it was a deliberate compromise town built up around its government role. Montana's capital is Helena. In 1875, Helena replaced Virginia City as the territorial capital due to its booming gold discoveries. When Montana achieved statehood in 1889, Helena narrowly won a controversial vote against Anaconda to remain the capital. Nebraska's capital is Lincoln. Originally Omaha, the capital moved to Lancaster, renamed Lincoln, in 1867. Lawmakers wanted a central inland site, and naming it after Abraham Lincoln added symbolic weight. Nevada's capital is Carson City. It became the capital in 1864, anchored by the Comstock Lode silver boom nearby. Though Las Vegas grew far larger, Carson City retained its role due to historical establishment. New Hampshire's capital is Concord. Since 1808, Concord has served as the capital. It was chosen for its Merrimack River access and centrality between coast and interior. New Jersey's capital is Trenton. In 1790, Trenton was chosen for its central Delaware River position and Revolutionary War significance. New Mexico's capital is Santa Fe. Established as a Spanish capital in 1610, it retained its role through U.S. statehood in 1912. Its historic and symbolic importance anchored it despite Albuquerque's growth. New York's capital is Albany. Since 1797, Albany has served as the capital, chosen for its Hudson River location and trade role. The Erie Canal further reinforced its significance. North Carolina's capital is Raleigh. Founded in 1792 for the express purpose of serving as the capital, Raleigh's centrality and planning distinguished it from coastal New Bern, the former seat. North Dakota's capital is Bismarck. The capital moved north from Yankton in 1883, encouraged by railroad development and centrality. Ohio's capital is Columbus. In 1816, the capital moved from Chillicothe to Columbus, a purpose-built central capital designed for fairness. Columbus later grew into the state's largest city, uniquely combining both roles. Oklahoma's capital is Oklahoma City. Initially Guthrie in 1907, it moved in 1910 after a statewide vote. Oklahoma City's railroad hub and rapid growth gave it dominance. Oregon's capital is Salem. After shifts among Oregon City and Corvallis, Salem became permanent in 1855. Its fertile Willamette Valley setting and river access cemented the choice. Pennsylvania's capital is Harrisburg. Moved from Philadelphia in 1812, Harrisburg's Susquehanna River location offered centrality and security from coastal threats. Rhode Island's capital is Providence. Until 1901, Rhode Island rotated among 5 towns. Providence, the largest industrial city, was chosen for efficiency. South Carolina's capital is Columbia. Established in 1786 to shift power from coastal Charleston to the inland population, Columbia balanced geographic fairness. South Dakota's capital is Pierre. When the state was formed in 1889, Pierre's central Missouri River location justified its selection despite its small size. Tennessee's capital is Nashville. After moving between Knoxville, Kingston, and Murfreesboro, the capital settled permanently in Nashville in 1826 due to its centrality and Cumberland River access. Texas's capital is Austin. Chosen in 1839 for the Republic of Texas, Austin's central inland location and deliberate planning made it the symbolic heart of the state. Despite Houston and Dallas growing larger, Austin retained the seat. Utah's capital is Salt Lake City. Founded in 1847, it became the territorial capital in 1850 and state capital in 1896. Its religious and geographic centrality anchored its role. Vermont's capital is Montpelier. Selected in 1805 for its central mountain location, Montpelier remains the smallest U.S. capital by population, but retains its government role. Virginia's capital is Richmond. In 1780, the seat moved inland from Williamsburg during the Revolutionary War. Richmond's James River location and industry secured it as the permanent capital. Washington's capital is Olympia, named territorial capital in 1853 and state capital in 1889. Olympia's location on Puget Sound and its early designation cemented it, even as Seattle grew larger. West Virginia's capital is Charleston. After the Civil War split the state, the capital alternated between Wheeling and Charleston before settling permanently in Charleston in 1885. Wisconsin's capital is Madison. Chosen in 1837 as a planned compromise location between Milwaukee and the Mississippi River, Madison grew alongside the University of Wisconsin into a major educational and political center. Wyoming's capital is Cheyenne. Established as territorial capital in 1869, Cheyenne's Union Pacific Railroad hub status gave it early prominence. Though not central in geography, its rail and settlement importance secured its role when Wyoming became a state in 1890.